Okay, so this says we are live and recording. Welcome everyone to Association Chat. This is an online discussion for the association community where we warm ourselves by the virtual fire with the topics of the day, welcoming thought leaders and trailblazers alike to join up in this online home for the association community. I'm the host of Association Chat, Kiki L'Italienne, and I have a very special guest with me today. Since her first Motorola Razr flip phone, Beth has made a verb out of the word nerd. She helps audiences filter through thousands of apps, gadgets, widgets, and doodads to find the perfect free and bargain technology tools for work and home. And today she's going to help us look better on our video teleconferences. Let's welcome your nerdy best friend, Beth Z. Yes, 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 yes. Yay. Welcome, welcome, Beth.
I kind of can't believe you invited me. If y'all, I mean, obviously we're on this page. Some of the people that came here are from my invitations. But do you know this woman? She has become phenomenal in getting the real conversations that associations need to have. I'm not just blowing smoke because she's not paying me, unless she is. But I haven't checked out her site in a long time, and I looked at it and I'm like, it's all the conversations that we need to have. She's on top of it. So I'm very, very impressed with where she's come, and because we knew her when, and now we just salute when she walks by. That's all we can do.
Oh, Beth, thank you so much. You know, we've known each other for years, and the thing is every time, you know, you want to have somebody phenomenal talking to your group who is sharing great tools. Beth Z, all the way, all the time, and always on top of it. What I do love is that your creativity really shines through. And at a time like this, which right now, what are we talking about, guys? It's the new C word on everyone's minds, equally as awful. We're talking about COVID-19 or the coronavirus. And as a result of this, we are having to stay home, right? A lot more often. Many of us are working from home more than ever. And so, you know, because of these video teleconferences that we do all the time, we have a lot of fun with these. You know, everyone kind of understands that if occasionally you're working from home and a kid or somebody comes and wanders into the frame, that stuff happens. But if we're going to be expected to show up regularly on an ongoing basis now, and who knows how long, right? For how long, we want to start looking a little better. Am I right? Yeah.
Totally.
So why don't you talk to me, Beth, a little bit about what most people get wrong? I mean, what do you see happening when you jump into most video teleconferences that we just are just doing a horrible job with?
One of the toughest things that we do, one of the toughest habits to break and things you really need to fix are where you're looking at a video conference. So right now, you folks are actually here, right? When I'm looking, this is where my eyes are, but you are looking through here. So I need to always concentrate on where that camera is. 1,000 times a teleconference, a video conference, I'll see somebody, they've got two screens. Yes. Their camera is coming in through their ear, and then they're looking over there, and it's like, yes, I understand, and I'm really with you on this project. No, you're not. You're over there. You are right here. So
I see you. I know where you are. Yes.
And it's hard. I'm not picking on you, Kiki, but I see you. You're looking where the camera is because you're looking at me. You're looking at you. You're looking at.
I'm looking at the comments. I'm looking everywhere. Yes,
so
I am.
One of the tricks that I do is I just minimize this window and pull it up near the camera.
Okay, let me try this right now. I want to try this even as we speak. I'm minimizing, which is just difficult, you guys, because, you know, I want to make sure I see everything. But I have to say, kudos to Crowdcast, which is a platform I'm using right now. It's minimizing well, and I can still see comments. Okay, so if I'm talking to you, how does it look right now? Like when I'm talking to you?
It looks a lot closer. than if you
Okay.
have a full screen and people are down lower on the screen. It's just a
Got it.
little thing we can do, plus centering the other person, the person you're actually talking to. A lot of times we want to talk to ourselves and see how we're looking up there. I do it all the time. But we want to put the other people where they are. So this is the Crowdcast. We have Zoom. We have all these others that sometimes will keep everybody in a gallery, or we'll keep them have one person focused on at a time. But
Okay.
whoever you're talking to, try to get them as close to where the
Okay.
camera is, and never put on multiple screens. Put them on a different screen, which comes to another topic about multiple screens. Just
Okay.
disconnect from them. Just do one screen so that you have that conversation right there and you don't have to keep going. I've got a panel here. I've got like a whole Star Trek Discovery mode here. And I need to turn those off, mirror my screens, turn those off so I don't mess with everything. As soon as I turn them on and spread my screens out again, it'll be fine. But now I am looking straight here. A third
Okay, how am
reason
I doing right now? I'm going to interrupt because I am problem solving and making this better as we go. Okay, how does it look now?
it looks a lot better. And
A lot
look
better.
at me looking at you.
Yeah, I'm looking at you right now. And then
And whereas before you were down or out right there. So when I was looking at you, I was much lower. Now I'm just a
okay,
little bit lower and I can
okay,
still see you, but I look better into the camera and I look like I'm better having a conversation. Now I
yeah,
conscientiously am not looking at me because I got a double chin. Nobody wants to see this. So I'm conscientiously looking up. So I am missing the comments, but this is something
yeah.
that really helps make this online conversation a lot more like a conversation than two people looking down at their than like your dinner table with everybody on their
It
phone.
does. This is really good. What do you guys think? You're watching it right now. I know that anyone who's listening to this, you're just hopefully you're not being totally bored, but think about this fact. You want to move the window up right underneath the camera so that it looks like you're looking directly at the person you're talking to. And maybe if I angle my camera down, that'll help too.
That might help
Yeah.
a little bit too. You could
So,
also move your chair up so that your line of sight, you're looking more down toward it a little bit. Play with it.
I
But going
will.
back to that panel of screens, which a lot of us have, even at home, turn them off. People with glasses have trouble with this. So I have a reflection at all times, but I have the back of my computer, my backdrop is black on the screen. So now my screen's smaller and the black is behind it. So I don't have 17 really bright screens. And then the other two are off. So I don't have those screens, because one of the things is that you've got all these reflections. Your face is like glowing because of all the screens that are reflected back into you.
Okay, so let me go ahead. I do have a screen open. I have my notes, and let me try to do that as we go along. And I guess that's a little bit better. Yeah, maybe a little bit. Okay.
Well, you're not wearing glasses, so it's a lot for those of us who wear glasses. Now, I don't know if y'all can see the reflection in here. Can you see what's on my screen?
Mm-hmm.
It's called cat bounce. It's called cat bounce. I am looking at something called cat bounce. So that's another problem. I was just listening to a journalist podcast the other day, and they said they catch a lot of politicians, they catch a lot of people because when they're sharing their screen, or they can see the screen reflected in the glasses, or all kinds of different things, they see when they're goofing off, when they're searching for a job, all kinds of things. Now, your coworkers are not going to be looking for this. But
Right.
right now, if cat bounce is reflected in my glasses, you know that I'm not really
Cat
paying
bounce.
attention.
I love it. I love it. These are such great tips already. I mean, one thing that I'm always super aware of is, making sure I have enough lighting coming this way. But what are some other things? Because as Hillary's bringing up right now, perfect timing, Hillary. She says, what about where the windows should be? so many of us, have been in those situations where it seems like there's the beams of light coming from beyond, and we can't see the person's face, right? And so talk to us a little bit about where the windows should be. What's our lighting situation? What should we do?
So there's a couple of different things that'll absolutely ruin your video. One is video lighting, and the other one is audio. So we'll cover both of those topics. Lighting is so important, and so often, especially when we're in the office at work and we have the, the fluorescent lighting above us or whatever. I mean, it is dark. It is dark, and it is dank looking, and it is depressing looking. And even if you are in your office and you don't see how dark it is, we're not seeing your face. Again, we're trying to have that cubicle to cubicle conversation. We're not just trying to connect, because we could do that over a phone, right? We're trying to see the person in all their seeingness. So getting a little bit of light on the subject. Now I have put in, Kiki's going to share my little video that I made.
Yes. And I just posted it right before we went live. So that's why I was running a little bit behind connecting backstage in the green room. I just posted it. So if you go to associationchat.com, you can see Beth's awesome video. It's so hilarious. It has a lot of great tips. She had help with it. She had a guest star in the video with her.
So we did a bunch of scenarios about when things go wrong, and the darkness will change the way people are perceiving you when you're in this. Now, I'm very lucky. I moved from San Diego to Nashville, and in San Diego, I had a 9x9 room in my house with very little light, and the light was bad. So I ended up buying, and I will just bring this over. I ended up buying these lighting stands, fairly inexpensive, less than $70, I think, or less than $100 for sure. And they're just small lighting outside pieces that will give me that healthy glow. I don't even need them right now, because now in my house, I have 2 giant windows. And luckily, I have to play around with the light sometimes, but luckily that light is a really good light for me. But when I go into, even with my fellow speakers who know how to do this, they're yellow, they're orange, they're pale, they're green. They've got this tint on them because they haven't added good light into the system to give them that connection. So I'm just popping here. I just happened to see Reed's question about custom backgrounds. So this is another thing I have. Let me pull it up. I went ahead, invested, and again, the links are with Kiki with that video I made. Yes. I went ahead and invested in a green screen. These green screens are so helpful for making videos at home. Even if you want to do any kind of communication to your members, communication to your participants or what have you, having a green screen can help a lot. Zoom does the green screen that it can change the background. Now, you don't have to buy a green screen for Zoom's background. If you have just a blank wall or something that's not very cluttered, it will superimpose that picture over there. And then I have trouble sometimes with Zoom with sizing the pictures right for what they want. I don't know. They're kind of weird. But this green screen is very helpful. And it just retracts. And then I put it in the back of the room. We also have that on the link. Peggy has the very famous web wraparound chair. It's called Web Around. And it's this little piece that it straps itself on your chair. And then it kind of gives you a high boy green screen on your head. And so that I look better at a distance. So,
yeah, I need to actually practice some social and camera distancing, right? Like this camera distancing.
And shoot down. All on the angle. Supermodel. But so those are really nice too. And Peggy, how much are they? They're not very expensive. I don't think. I should look that up too. A lot of my speaking colleagues have it. It's very easy to have it in a smaller office too, because it's just that piece.
Yeah, and let me go ahead and just put this out there. If you have tools that go along with this, like the web around that Peggy mentioned, and you want to share the link to that or some more information about that, go ahead and pop those over in the chat, and I'll add that to the list of tools that Beth has already graciously provided to us underneath her fun video over on associationchat.com. And the thing is that we're all trying to get better at this all the time. Usually I tried to graduate from having these on instead of, just, I wanted to have like earbuds or something like that don't show up as much. And of course they weren't charged when we got ready to go ahead and do this. So that's on me. But I wanted to talk a little bit about the audio because, so many questions come in. Audio can go wrong in a million ways. I think the problem that I have is that, when I do a lot of interviews, and we've done interviews over the years, and I think, especially when you have more than one person that's on and the sound's coming out on their side, sometimes there's that echo, and you guys, I'm sure, have all experienced it. So what are your suggestions on how to control some of those sound issues?
The biggest thing is do something besides your default one.
Yes.
Have an external mic of some kind because it's going to make a world of difference. In that video I talked about, I made some shifts in using the audio so you could see how different it was night and day. Now I've invested in this little guy. It's it's so cute. It's a Blue Ice microphone. I forgot. It's in the video also. It's a Blue Ice microphone. It's plug and play with a USB, and it's so easy to change the entire tone of your audio. Also, the AirPods, any kind of microphone that comes here and you're talking from here rather than having all this space, that changes so much. And it's a small thing, but like you said, sometimes it's challenging with the keeping them charged, because when you're talking and using AirPods, you don't have much time at all. You're like, I don't know what's going on here. Why am I not having it? And they just, when you're talking, when you're listening, it's fine. But if you're using them to talk and it's going through, it drains the battery in no time at all. I don't think you have 45 minutes.
Yeah, it's very, very difficult. And I think that while it's nice to go wireless when you can, sometimes with our technology, the more you add to it, the more complications come into play and the more things that can go wrong, right? So sometimes simple is best. Yeah.
So I see Scott has a question. Can you do the one that you're in outer space with the backdrop? Yes.
Oh, you can ignore Scott. Don't know, Scott. We're trying to look professional here. This is called pants aren't optional. Okay.
You might work for a space association. I mean, you can do that. I have a couple of funny ones that looks like it's somebody holding my head, and that's not.
I'm going to tell on Scott, Mr. Scott Oser here, though. Mr. Excellent marketing consultant. I love working with Scott. Brilliant mind, fun guy, great speaker. But let me tell you, this man, there's a reason he is on this today, because I have, and it's true, I think I saw him telling on himself earlier. I have talked to him on these video teleconferences, and true, he looks like the anonymous person that's like ratting out the big boss in some of those video, those TV shows where you can't see him at all. It's all bright behind him and he's telling his story. It's so funny. So yeah, invest in some lighting and face the window, Scott. Yeah. Beth said so.
Beth said so. What other kind of tips are you looking for?
Okay, so here's the thing that I think a lot of people get scared about, how the whole looking up the nose, or, how do I position my camera and that sort of thing. Do we need to have a separate camera, or can we use the built-in? How important is this?
Having the built-in, or using a separate camera to me makes all the difference in the world. Again, it's amazing how quickly. I wonder if I have the capabilities in here to change my video. Hold on just a second.
All right.
Oh no, that's not what it did.
No, but I hear you.
So you can't see me?
I can't see you.
Oh, I messed up the whole world. I said toggle video, and now it's not toggled. It's just gone.
Oh no.
Let's see. How funny. It said toggle video. So it was nice visiting with you.
It was. You were so fantastic, Beth. No.
Apparently. Where did I go? Yeah, it said toggle video. Let's see. And then there's you. It said toggle, but there's no untoggle. Is there technical support here anywhere?
There is, but you know what you might want to do? You might want to jump off and then come right back in, because sometimes I found in my experience with this that, sometimes that's just the best way. And then Peggy's saying, yeah, I love that I'm not the only one who does this kind of thing. Yeah, Moira, right. It's the old reboot. Yeah, it's
it's funny. It still says I'm on camera, but I am definitely not on camera. This is actually a better look for me. Hold on. No, I'll be right back. I'll be right back.
So this is a really great example. I think that while we are going through all of this craziness with practicing with our different types of tech tools, and certainly using our, video teleconferencing more and more often, this kind of stuff's going to happen. And while we keep facing these technical difficulties on and off, you just kind of have to go with the flow, right? And then figure out how to solve it along the way. I think I have been very prepared by failing many times with association chat over the years, that I don't get quite as shaken when this stuff happens to me. Oh,
that is so funny. The setup is completely like not here anymore. It said toggle, and I thought, oh wait. Oh, there's my little guy. Toggle.
Ooh. Here you are.
All right, so I'm not going to touch anything anymore. I wanted to, let me see. Oh, here we go. Change camera and mic. Okay. I want to show you a couple of different things.
Okay.
So here, this is right now, I'm using the blue snowball. I'm going to change to my internal microphone.
Okay.
Okay. Now I am talking with my internal microphone. Does it sound any different?
A little maybe.
All right, let me try. Oh, wait. Let's see. Let's try this one. That one should be the same.
Yes.
All right. And then I'm going to try this is the webcam's microphone. How does it sound?
It sounds the same. I'm not sure it's actually making the changes when you're making it.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. Peggy's hearing them all. That's interesting.
So now this is the built-in camera.
Wow, you look different. So different. Oh my gosh.
I looked better before. All right, let me go back to my
It's so crazy. It looks like a totally different room.
Yes, this is the built-in camera on my Mac. Let me change the audio to internal.
So, and I have to say, this is something that we can learn about the platform that you're using. I'm going to just a little learning point, because Peggy Hoffman's saying it has a tunnel. I'm hearing them all. Diane says lips and sound out of sync. And so an interesting point from my perspective, the sound didn't really change until that last one, and the lips and sound were never out of sync. So you want to be thinking about this when you are trying different things with your platforms. Sometimes the platforms aren't delivering the same experience for everyone. It might be because I'm the host. So that's something. Now I'm talking with my internal mic. Yeah, it's not as clear. It's not as clear. It's not as comfortable. And your office looks like bright white, like super shiny white all the time. And right now it has like sort of this pale yellow kind of thing going on. It's so crazy. And finally, this audio is from the webcam mic. Huh.
Probably a little bit better than the internal, but nowhere near as good as the snowball.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting.
So I'm going to go back to the webcam, and I'm going to go back to the snowball.
Huh. And Peggy's saying, Kiki, I'm seeing you out of sync, lips on and off. Correct. Fascinating. Okay,
And
Beth, let's talk about this. This is like a totally different person, different
the
place.
color tone is right. I'm as pale
Right.
and sticky as I should be. Yeah, no, it's a huge difference, and I probably sound good again. It's a huge difference. Huge difference.
It is, absolutely. So what you're telling me is that a good mic and a good camera does make a super big difference.
Super big difference. I mean, it's night and day. I actually had a speaker. I'm going to minimize you again. I had a speaker friend who was like, she bought a good camera. She bought a good computer, and the good computer had it said it had a fancy webcam on it. And she's like, it's still blurry, and I paid all this money. Should I bring it back? And I'm like, no, it's never going to be as good. Spend $100, get a web camera that is external. That's what it does. I'm
Yep.
using the Logitech. It's the Logitech. I'm reading it here. 920 model. There's several in that category, but they're very common.
Yeah, that's the same one that I use, and I think it's just really great. I do think though that now I am very super aware of where my eyes are, and I'm realizing that it's the two bands of bookmarks and stuff that I have at the top of my browser that I need to minimize, because that would bring the frames up directly underneath the camera. So I'm solving this as we're talking. It's amazing.
And it does help. It does help so much in just making that connection. So you're really talking to people.
Cool. Yeah, I'm reducing this now. I'm getting closer and closer. By the end of this, I'll actually be looking like I'm talking directly to you. It's
but
amazing.
The funny thing is, I won't see it because I'm talking directly to you. So I'm not meeting your eyes. I'm looking at my eyes, or looking at the blank screen.
The
blanks. Oh, that was
fun. Yeah.
Sorry, I'll stop
that. Okay, so we've got our lighting figured out. We have talked a little bit about some of the other things that we need as far as cameras and microphones. What are some other things that go terribly wrong when people are on video teleconferences? What should we be thinking about as far as we're going to be home? We've got our significant others or our kids or our pets who are always here with us. What do we need to be thinking about with all of that?
If you're telecommuting and you're used to being in an office, pretend this is work. It is work. Find a space for yourself. Find a time for yourself. Isolate yourself. I know some of you have kids. You're supposed to pay attention to them. Whatever. Give them an iPad. I don't care. Pretend you're going to work. I once wrote a post when I first started working at home called "First Do No Laundry," and just making that mindset to having an office. I have to have an office. I can't do it at the kitchen table. If you don't have a special office, then have a special spot in the room where it's yours. Also, you always have to be concerned about your connection. That's huge. Both receiving and broadcasting has to be fantastic. It's best if you have a wired internet connection. If you can't have a wired, make sure your Wi-Fi is high. When I do webinars, a lot of time they want me to have a landline. I haven't had a landline in years. So I have that connection. But when we moved to Tennessee, we moved to a 1 gig community. I can't even. In San Diego, I had like top 75 megabits per second. Here I have 1,000.
Wow.
1,000 megabits per second. So it's insane. I have so much power. But most of us don't have this. So if you are at home and right now and other people are in your household, watch your internet connection when you're having these video conferences. ask your other members of your household, hey, why don't you, I don't know, take a nap during this time while I have this 1 hour video conference, just so that I can have the bandwidth I need to be the professional I am and attend this meeting just like I was in the office. Dress
I
like you're
mean,
still in the office, eat like you're still in the office. Don't do chores just like you wouldn't be able to do when you're still in the office. Replicate that, especially if you're new at this, so that you can have a professional atmosphere and still be a member of that community, because we will eventually transition back, I hope, into communities where we work together, and you want to keep that continuous.
now, a lot of people who are on this call, I know them. They are already people who work from home pretty regularly. But for some of the people who are listening to this, they may not be accustomed to doing it. And some of the things that you brought up earlier, I think, are really helpful for them. Like, first, do no laundry. Try to stay focused on the things that you need to get done. And I do feel like there's going to be a little bit of a learning curve. One of the challenges that I see in this particular situation that makes it different is that, while it's one day usually, or a couple days, snow day, spring break, or whatever, where I might have my child and my husband at home, sharing the bandwidth with me, sharing, the house with me. Now I don't know how long it's going to be. Is it going to be a month? Is it, how long is it that my day-to-day work is going to be different from, or be, sort of different from usual, where I'm sharing my space. And so, like, before we had this call, before we had this discussion, I told both of them, okay, high alert, please don't stream anything. If you're watching your Broadway streaming service, Margot, please turn that off for the next hour. I promise you we'll get a chance. Don't run up and down the stairs. That'll make the dog go crazy, all of this stuff. But inevitably, after how long, somebody's going to mess up. Something's going to happen. So I know this isn't, we're talking about how to look our best in our workspace, how to show up. What is that?
Oh no!
What
It's a ringing
happened?
phone. I faked it because I pushed something on my wrist.
Yes.
That said, "Get me out of this meeting." But it's little things like this. I know this is
Yes.
kind of silly, but we leave these on. We forget.
Yes.
The pets come through the room. The Amazon comes 17 times a day to your house.
Right.
All of these things. Just make a check around the house. My husband, I had a huge webinar with this group that, like, even when we did the trial, they're like, shut the door back there, move the pillow. Like, they were really picky.
Yes.
And that day we happened to have an air conditioning problem. And I'm like, to the husband, I said, DJ, you can't have any of those people fixing the air conditioning. He's like, oh, he'll be in and out in 1 second. I flipped a lid because this was so important and I had to be so professional. And these people were so picky. And I was like, the guy was gone. I mean, he was stomping. I swear he did a dance up there. And I was like, I begin in 7 seconds. I begin in 6 seconds. And then he left. And I'm like, oh my gosh, don't do that to yourself. Make sure, put a sign on your door, put a sign on your front door. Don't ring the bell, especially if you have dogs that go crazy. Don't ring the bell. If you have cats, I'm surprised I haven't had a cat. Tell you the truth, I get a lot of brownie points for the cats. When I'm doing them in a webinar and all of a sudden a cat appears, I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. And then pet the cat and they're like, bonus points for Beth. So use it the way you need to, if you know what I mean. You're asking for a raise or something and the cat jumps up and you're like, you like cats, don't you, boss?
Yes.
Use it the way you need to, but minimize those distractions. Tell your people they've got to go. Just rein yourself in so that you can give all this. Think about when you are in a meeting at work. Your dog is not barking underneath the table. Your kid is not asking for a peanut butter or an almond butter and, banana bread sandwich or whatever kids do today. They are not there, you can replicate when they're not there. And even if you're used to working at home and that's how you operate, you can still set those parameters because you're working with people who may not be used to working from home, and you can help them understand this space that you've created.
I love these tips. They're so fantastic. I see that there are a couple of questions. Reed saying, any thoughts on whether one or multiple platforms is better? I'm not sure I understand. Are you talking about using like Zoom versus GoToWebinar or that kind of thing? I'm guessing maybe.
That's what I'm
Okay.
getting for that from that.
Okay.
And I'll give you a couple of ideas here. Number one, we're seeing several of these tools understanding the opportunity they have, and they are giving away more for free. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so let's talk about Microsoft Teams. That is a Slack equivalent, but it's 100% free, and they have video conferencing on there. And one of the things I like about them, they got this little switch that'll let you blur the background. So if you've got a super crappy background, you can blur it rather than having that, that Zoom fake background, because there are challenges with that too. Because if it's not lit
Mm-hmm.
right, your fingers
Right.
disappear, all this
I
kind of
saw
stuff.
somebody using it, and it looked like she was like floating with the San Francisco sky or bridge behind her, and I was like, "Whoa, that's
Yeah,
not
real
working."
distracting. Yeah.
Yeah,
So that has its own problems, but Slack has that little bar that you can do that blurs the background and helps you. So
yeah.
Slack, which went down today, poor folks, they straight out of the gate when millions of people are starting to use them, they're like, eh. So
Mm-hmm.
Microsoft Teams is really stepping up to the plate. They have surpassed Slack, and that's a great way to communicate with teams. And they've got video conferencing in there.
Peggy.
Google just
Oh yeah.
released some of their for their Google Duo. Do they do Hangouts? They've kind of morphed them into one,
Mm-hmm.
and they have given more capabilities to those of us who have G Suite products,
Mm-hmm.
given a lot of things away for free. Um, it's kind of in a rarefied air space still, though. I don't have the G Suite.
It is.
I'm in different areas, so I haven't used that very much. The standard right now is Zoom, and I remember
Yeah.
when Zoom was brand new and nobody knew about it, and I was like the hero for telling people, and they're like, now we just Zoom it, and I'm like, okay, I'll take it off my list of best ones because it's a best kept secret that's out.
Yeah. Right.
Zoom is kind of an industry standard now. They have a really robust free version. I actually set my husband up with it today. He doesn't listen to me, so I can't tell him anything. But today, the courts, he's a bankruptcy attorney, and the courts are letting them do Zoom video conferences instead of going to court. So I
Wow.
showed him exactly how he would be invited. With Zoom, you can have a free version and have meetings for up to 40 minutes. Now, they are increasing that, I think, for nonprofits and education because of the coronavirus challenges we're having right now, to unlimited minutes and a lot more participants. But the free version for most of us are going to be still 40 minutes. I now have the webinar version because our association bought it for us. And so I get it for like $300 a year versus $300 a month. But
Yeah.
the
That's that
pro
National
version,
Speakers Association perk too, isn't that?
yeah,
Yes.
that's where I got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
The pro version is like either 99 or 129 a year right now.
Mhm.
And it's fantastic, well worth it. So if you're looking to buy a platform or even use it casually, Zoom has become the standard. WebEx has opened their door as well and given some things away for free. That's another good platform. I don't like it as much as I like Zoom. Zoom to me is quicker, faster, more able to do things on the fly. But I use WebEx a lot. Adobe Connect has theirs. So if
Mhm.
you're in the Adobe infrastructure, you can use theirs. They're a little bit more pricey. And
Mhm.
then GoToMeeting, GoToWebinar / log me in. They've all done some free things in this crisis time to let you have some of these tools for free so that you'll fall in love with them and then pay them later. Um,
Right.
dang people who want to make a living. I just wish they would all be trust fund babies so we wouldn't have to fight their advertisements so much.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, and I have to say, Crowdcast I love because there are different things that you can do. It's really, I like when you get in here, you're able to do the polls, you're able to ask the questions and things like that. The analytics are fun. But here's what I don't like, and that is, I think that the quality of the video it's so hard to know what people on the other side are seeing for me. And later, and it's not until I post that I actually know it can look perfectly fine on my side, and I don't know what quality is going to come out on the other side or what the experience is like. Whereas Zoom seems to do the best as far as pulling the best quality from each side of, like, every single participant. They're pulling the best video that they can get, right? So somebody was explaining to me technically how this worked, how the technologies are different. But while I love Crowdcast and stuff, I often will use Zoom if I'm really, really concerned about the quality of the video being exceptional and it not having weird glitches. And so that's something to consider. Sorry, Crowdcast, I love you, but yeah, I really hope that gets resolved, because it's concerning when you're trying to look your best. Sometimes you're the person that's in control, just like Peggy's talking about here, where you're the person who has to make the decision on what other people are going to use. I used to be able to suggest this as a platform all the time, and I can't do that all the time anymore. But Zoom, I love. So interesting discussion about platforms. We had another question in the list of questions. And Michael says, what about issues related to using or sharing videos and PP? PP meaning, PowerPoint. So I usually think like PPT. I was like, private property, personal. Okay, sorry. Thank you. Thank you.
TP, toilet paper. Are we going to get our free roll for doing this
TP,
today?
yes.
It varies. I find Zoom to be very reactive. I find WebEx to be a little delayed sometimes, because when I do webinars, when I'm speaking and I'm doing a live event online, I share my screen, because not just my PowerPoints, I share my screen because I go back and forth from showing people different things on the web and samples to the PowerPoint, and I show a lot of video. Sometimes they come across as French Impressionist paintings, just kind of blurs and things. But I find Zoom to be one of the higher qualities. The more bells and whistles people have in that category, the worse the video is going to come across. Mm-hmm. If it's kind of simple and straightforward, it seems to do better. There are some vendors' products in this category, and I won't name them because they're in the association category. Just understand that if you are going shopping in the association category, there are some vendors that do better with streaming video and streaming audio than others, like much better, like a billion times better, where it's pretty much unusable. So Zoom does fine. I think Teams would do okay. I don't know. Have you done a video playing with Crowdcast?
I have, and I did not like the quality. It just was not reliable. And in fact, when recently I did an interview with two young, super smart co-CEOs of a text platform. They do like text-based courses. Can you believe that? Teaching by text, right? It's like micro learning. And for Arist, I had them on, and they asked me if they could show a demo, and I didn't want to try it because of exactly what you experienced here just a little while ago. I was afraid that if it went to what they were trying to show, it'd be poor quality, and then I'd lose them completely. So I think if there's one lesson, you definitely want to test your technology. If you are really concerned about, you have a very important engagement, interaction with people, meeting, interview, Crowdcast, I feel comfortable with. People know to come here. They get notified if they've already signed up to follow association chat, and I continue to use it for that reason. But if I ever, have something where it was like I was going to be talking with a representative of the CDC right now or something like that. And I wanted to make sure, I don't know them. I haven't built up my social equity with them that I have with you. I don't have like this goodwill, from them already. I'd have to do it on Zoom because I would have more faith that I wouldn't lose them in the process.
Yeah.
And that's the truth.
It's definitely a challenge. Also, when you record Zoom webinars, here's one thing I found. And I did it with the one I showed you. We did all that on Zoom with the video that you have. It just shifts the sound just a smidge.
Yeah.
It's so annoying. I cannot even tell you because you can't get them synced up.
Yes.
Just a little bit. So it kills me. So if you see it, don't make me feel bad about myself because I already do.
No, it's actually harder to do that than people really realize because, when I used to work, I used to, collaborate with someone else and they, I'd go to the studio and stuff and they would the live streaming makes it more complicated because when you're live streaming and they're trying to make everything sync up and match up, it's very, very difficult to get it just right on the nose. So if you're wanting to do high quality recordings and you're thinking about using these for a later purpose and the quality of the video is important, you might think about pre-recording and not having it live stream at the same time because otherwise it's very, very difficult to get that sound right.
Or you can do, and this is what I did yesterday I did a screen capture, capturing the audio at the same time. So I was double recording.
Okay,
so
wait.
Recording.
What did you use for that?
So I have Snagit and Camtasia.
Okay.
And I use both.
Yes.
Snagit was $50, I think. Camtasia for Mac is not very expensive. For PC, it's pretty expensive. I don't know why. But they're both fantastic. Same company called TechSmith.
Mm-hmm.
They've been around a long time. They used to do Jing. Jing died. I'm still bitter. But Snagit is so quick and easy, and it gave me amazing quality so quickly. Whereas Zoom, it had to go and process, and then it came back, and I had the audio as a separate file, so you can do some separate files. But Snagit really captured what was going on, and the synchronicity was a lot better. Still not 100% because but it got the audio going into the computer from us, and then the audio as it was happening. Because I was walking around the house doing different things when we were simulating this this silly video chat that we were doing, and so it did a much better job of capturing the two. And then I also had a backup.
So Michael has a question. It's about, and Michael, thank you so much. You have such great questions. He asks about the platform On24 and said that he understands that it's a good platform for webinars, but understands that it's pricey. He asked if we had experience with it. Have you experienced it?
No, it's too pricey. I just I don't have the money for that.
It is really great. It is really pricey. I'll say that I've only been invited to give a webinar using it. Like where I'm presenting, I'm not the moderator. So I haven't looked at all the bells and whistles. I'm sure that there's a lot of different features that are available behind the scenes. But from my perspective, from what I saw, it looked really smooth. It worked just seamlessly, but you pay for that. You pay for a lot of that ease of use, I think. Kristen says, Peggy, here's the link for the team's webinar. And that was brought before too. Wednesday, Reggie Henry, and who is doing that with him? Who's sponsoring that or featuring that? There's a Microsoft Teams. Oh, yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah, there's a great webinar that's happening where all the answers are coming in. Yay. that is going to happen that is talking just about that particular product. And it is a really good time to jump in and find out more. So check out the link, and it's shared in the chat window there. So we have 10 more minutes. I just want to ask you if you have any tips for when people have to get on and they are maybe reporting in a way that they never have before, through video, and they're not comfortable using video. A lot of people are, they just are not the ones that ever turned on their video camera or their webcam before. They always chose to have just their little icon. And now that everybody's there and as part of the team, they're having to get more involved. We've given them tips about how to look better with your lighting, where the windows are positioned, different types of tools to use. Do you have any other tips for them that we haven't covered that we talked about today? Is there any sort of secret ingredient that you have to making your videos look so good?
Well, just the natural person inside. You know what I do a lot of times? Number one, when I use Zoom, there's a little click that says, touch up my appearance.
Yes.
This one doesn't have it. And I am
I know, man.
and wrinkled.
I know. The reality is harsh.
I look better from afar.
I feel you. I feel the same way. I need that button.
Yeah, we need that button because it does help. Another thing that I do, especially when I'm doing a recorded one, and then I have the video, is I take it and I put it into iMovie and I apply a little bit of a filter. Maybe it's just psychological, but I always feel like I put the vignette one on most of the time, and it darkens the side a little bit, kind of softens the whole thing, and I look better softened, I think.
We all look better
softened. It kind of looks a little bit more professional too when I do that. I also can alter the sound because, when you're doing something, one person may be louder on there than the other person may be softer, and you can even out the sound. So I always kind of pull it into a video editor to play around with it a little bit, to add those little touches. If you're doing something live, just keep practicing. If you're new to this and you're uncomfortable, just keep practicing. We don't want to see your little picture or just your name. We want to see you. That's why we're connecting this way. And if we were in an office together, we would be seeing you. So you're not invisible. One thing though, if your Wi-Fi is not very good, go ahead and just join by audio so that you can be on the call and maybe you can see them. But if your video is cutting out when it's going out because your internet's not strong enough, go ahead and pull that back and be on there via audio. But just get used to yourself on there or hide yourself, right? So in Zoom and things, you can say, don't show my picture when I'm speaking. So you don't see you, if that makes you uncomfortable. A lot of the people we're in an office with aren't front facing to association staff. They're behind the scenes, they're working, and that's where they're most comfortable. They're your introverts, or they just, most people, I think, except now when we're all doing selfies, we're all a little self-conscious. And if you're seeing yourself up there and you don't like what you see, that could really put a damper on your being there. So just mark yourself out. Just make it so you don't see yourself and you can see the other people, so that, in a meeting room, it's not like you'd have a big mirror in front of yourself in there. You would just be able to see the other people. So see if you can kind of disconnect from that if that really makes you feel uncomfortable.
It's a really great advice, because I noticed that on Zoom specifically, whenever it does that thing where if I say one thing or clear my throat, it jumps to my window, and it's like all of a sudden it's my big face up there. I much prefer to set it so that I see everyone. I would much rather see everybody that's in there and just be one of the little boxes than like the big major box as I say whatever little thing I have to say, because that's to me, that's distracting. I think that it's, all of a sudden I'm like, whoa. I feel like I'm shouting in the room. Yeah. And I think it's hard enough. You're already stressed out. I will say that from years of jumping on video, I've become a little bit more comfortable with it. But do you keep like a mirror handy for me, and this is a little insight into my own setup here. So I'll show you mine if you show me yours type of thing, Beth. Like I have this like mirror over here that sits so that if I suddenly have to jump on a call or something, and it's like, oh, it's a video call or something, I can just look over really fast and make sure that like things are not crazy, because I'll forget like to even look at my face for like the whole day, unless I know that somebody else is going to see me. And we all get caught up in our days, but it's extremely handy, and you don't know how many times that sucker has helped me. And Zoom's touch up little button has helped me, where it's like slap on a little lipstick, smooth down the hair, I'm here, like it's time to go. That may not work for you, Michael, but it works for me. So
it doesn't work for me because I have two looks at home. I have fancy and homeless. Nothing in the middle. Nothing in the middle.
You are hilarious. Oh my gosh.
If I have a video call, it's painful. I got to go to the other room. I got to do a bunch of stuff. Sometimes I don't do enough stuff, but I do enough stuff to where I don't look homeless. My poor husband, this whole time that I'm going to be home, because a lot of events have been canceled.
Yeah.
I think he's going to make me wear more than yoga pants after a while, because that's all there is.
It's like, so, presenter Beth.
Presenter Beth, and then homeless Beth. That's it. That's it.
I don't think it's fair. Yoga pants do not equal homeless Beth. I just don't think that we can say that. I don't. Speaking of pants, though,
are not found. Like, I'm just sitting in my office, and I've been working by myself so long that I don't think I could have a job. Although I might need one. If there's anybody out there, I don't seem to be busy right now with speaking.
Isn't it crazy? I mean, I know we're running at the end of the time, but just for a moment, you guys, I know, hopefully you got the tips that you need and everything like that. But just for a second, oh my gosh, what the heck is going? It's crazy. And I can't imagine what your schedule looks like, because I know that you are always traveling, always doing events. But I mean, I've lost approaching $50,000 now in speaking engagements that had been booked. And so that's like a significant amount of money, not fun. And I think that, you have been great over in the different groups and everything where you post, like for the speakers groups and stuff, where I lurk, but you actually are active and engaged. You've been very positive, where a lot of people have been worried and keeping spirits high. But it's hard when you're watching, revenue that you expected to come in not be there suddenly. And so I know that a lot of us are looking at moderating webinars or holding webinars. And I'm seeing a lot of people attempting to pivot, but trying to figure out the right way to do it. And so Hillary's saying, yes, none of us have ever experienced anything like this. So, this is just a moment where I wanted to get really real for a second and say,
well, I have to say, I'm going to give it a plug because I just finished the registration page. A few of my fellow speakers are getting together, and we're doing like 15 minutes of crisis management help.
Where? Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
On Wednesday at 3 p.m. Central or what have you. There are 4 of us, and we're all going to give a little bit of information, just a little hour. It's called What Just Happened, a crisis panel for event planners in crisis. Because we know we lost 15 gigs, but y'all lost sponsors, members, venues. I cannot even imagine what associations are doing right now.
No.
So I really want to write to me, Beth at yournerdybestfriend.com, and I'll send you that link, Beth
Yeah,
at yournerdybestfriend.com.
and if I
I'll
get
send you
it,
the
I'll
link. We're
post
just
it
opening it
underneath
up.
this too.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
On
And
Wednesday afternoon.
awesome. Wednesday afternoon, 3 Central, you said?
And there will be, yes, and there will be a recording. So you just need to register and you'll get the recording.
Yeah. And I'm seeing, please post this info. Yes. Okay. So after this, I'll get the link from Beth, and underneath her video, if you go to associationchat.com, I will have her list of resources. I'll have a link back to Beth's website, and I'll also have the information about this webinar coming up. Okay, you guys.
You want me to find it real quick, or we got to go?
Please. Yeah. Find it.
Let me. It'll take me just a second. It's on Zoom.
All right. And then look at this. This is what happens when you bite your lip while you're wearing that lipstick that lasts forever.
Nice.
You can cause issues. Yeah, that wouldn't show up if I had that little button on Zoom.
Let's see. Here we go. Copied, and I will come back to where you are. Where are you? And paste it. All right. Sign up. We're not going to put it out on, I don't know. My coworkers may put it out everywhere, but it's going to be funny. It's going to be helpful. And I hope you join us.
I too. Thank you so much. And Beth, I really, really appreciate it. And I hope the best for all of us. I hope everybody got a lot out of this. And, we're keeping spirits high. I agree with what, Scott and Hillary and Peggy were all saying. Kathy, thank you so much. We're going to get through it. We're going to figure out what to do. But right now it's very tense. And at least we're going to be able to show up, have our pants on, and look good while we're doing whatever we're doing from our homes. So have a great week, everyone. I'm going to post those links, associationchat.com. Keep asking questions to learn every day. As Joseph Campbell once said, the cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek. Have a great week, everybody.
Bye, folks.
All right, bye. Thank you.